Have you ever found yourself just, staring at the clock at work, or maybe just thinking, is this really it? Is this my life until I'm 65? Or maybe even 75?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever just dream of a day when that 9 to 5 is just gone? Or when retirement finally actually gets here?
Yeah, I think most people do, right? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a book that really shook all that up, challenged those traditional ideas.
Exactly. We're diving into Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek, a book that, it really became a phenomenon, didn't it?
It absolutely did, because it basically dared people to ask, wait, is there another way? About their whole relationship with work, with time.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack its core ideas, the philosophy behind it, look at the practical steps he suggests, and share some really surprising insights, things that might help you listening redefine how you think about work and time, no matter where you are right now.
Yeah, we want to explore why these sort of radical ideas hit home for so many people and what being part of the new rich, as he calls it, actually means.
And just so everyone knows, all the information we're talking about comes straight from the expanded and updated version of The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss himself. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the book really kicks off with this almost provocative statement. Everything popular is wrong.
Haha. Yeah, that grabs your attention.
It does. And Ferriss basically uses that to tear down what he sees as these really common, flawed beliefs about work, about retirement. He especially targets the traditional deferred life plan.
The deferred life plan.
Yeah.
That's the whole work yourself into the ground now so you can maybe enjoy life later idea.
Exactly that. And he argues it's just fundamentally flawed for a few reasons.
Okay, like what? Why is waiting bad, according to him?
Well, first, it assumes you actually dislike what you're doing during your prime years, your most energetic years, which for him is just a terrible trade-off.
Makes sense.
Second, he points out, realistically, most people probably won't be able to retire comfortably anyway, with the way things are economically. It's not a guarantee.
That's a sobering thought.
And maybe the biggest point is that aiming to work less isn't about being lazy. It's about focusing on being incredibly productive personally, not just, busy for the sake of looking busy.
Right. Productive versus busy. That's a key distinction. And that leads into his big concept, doesn't it? The new rich.
Yes, the NR, the new rich. And this is crucial. It's not about having millions in the bank in the traditional sense. It's about designing a, quote, luxury lifestyle in the present.
Okay, luxury lifestyle now. So what's the currency, if not just money?
The currency is time and mobility. That's the key. It's about having the freedom and the ability to do what you want, when you want, where you want.
So experiencing things now like that ski chalet he mentions,
Yeah.
or traveling instead of waiting decades.
Precisely. It's about experiencing what millions can buy, but doing it now by structuring your life differently. The goal, he says, is simply fun and profit.
Fun and profit now. That feels almost revolutionary compared to how we're usually taught to think about careers.
It really is. And he connects this to how people define themselves. He says, job descriptions become self-descriptions way too often.
Oh, yeah, I see that all the time. What do you do is the first question people ask.
Exactly. He calls it an epidemic, something he admits he fell into himself. So the book pushes you to free up your time, automate your income, rather than just chase some elusive dream job that might not even make you happy forever.
So the real goal isn't the job title, it's options.
That's it. Options. The ability to choose when, where, how, and with whom you work. That, Ferriss says, is real power. And here's the paradox.
I want.
He suggests you can actually make a lot more money by doing half of what you were doing now.
Okay, that sounds counterintuitive. Doing less to make more, how?
It does. And that's why he lays out principles to break through inertia, that feeling of being stuck. One big one is, the timing is never right.
Ah, the someday trap.
Exactly. He puts it starkly. Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. His point is, if it matters, start now. Figure it out as you go.
Powerful stuff. What else?
Another one, maybe a bit controversial, is ask for forgiveness, not permission.
I can see how that might ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, but his caveat is if it won't devastate those around you. The idea is people often react badly to new ideas up front, but might accept them once they see it works.
Okay, within reason.
And related to that is the idea that money alone is not the solution. Chasing more money can just be an excuse to avoid figuring out how to enjoy life now.
That's a big one. Just delaying the real questions.
Right. And finally, confronting fear. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. He argues that your success is often measured by how many uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have.
Uncomfortable conversations, like asking for remote work or quitting.
Or even just cold calling someone important like he practiced doing, pushing past that fear barrier. So these ideas form the foundation for his practical framework, the DEAL method.
Okay, DEAL. Let's break that down. Step 1, D is for.
D is for definition. And this starts with something pretty unusual, fear setting.
Fear setting, not goal setting.
Right. Instead of just listing goals, you list your fears. Specifically, you write down the absolute worst-case scenarios if you pursue something like, say, quitting your job.
Oh, okay. That sounds terrifying.
Well, yeah, but then you analyze it. What's the temporary impact? What's the permanent impact? Rate it 1 to 10. And crucially, what could you do to prevent it, or how could you repair the damage if it happened?
So it's about making the fear concrete and manageable, not just this vague dread.
Exactly. He used it himself before taking a big trip after burning out. And he tells the story of Hans, an attorney who was terrified to leave his job. Fear setting helped him see the risks were manageable.
And what happened to Hans?
He ended up starting a surf adventure company in Brazil. Realized most potential disasters were just what Ferriss calls panty pinches.
Panty pitches. Okay, memorable. So minor fixable issues blown out of proportion.
Pretty much. And also, part of definition is embracing unrealistic goals.
Unrealistic. Isn't that setting yourself up for failure?
He argues the opposite. Unreasonable and unrealistic goals are easier to achieve. He gives this Princeton example where students aiming for something huge, like contacting a former president, actually succeeded more often than those with realistic goals.
Why would that be?
Because big goals give you this adrenaline infusion, this massive motivation that helps you power through obstacles. Realistic goals can be kind of, not inspiring enough to keep you going when things get tough.
Okay, interesting. Define the fears. Set huge goals. Got it. What's next?
E. E is for elimination. This is all about ruthlessly cutting out the crap, basically, being effective, not just busy.
All right, how do we do that?
First, the 80-20 principle, Pareto's law, you've probably heard of it.
Yeah, 80% of results from 20% of effort.
That's the one. So you need to identify that critical 20%, the tasks, the clients, whatever that gives you most of your desired outcomes, and focus intensely on that.
And the other 80%?
Eliminate it, automate it, delegate it, get rid of it. Ferriss talks about firing his most time-consuming, low-profit customers. It freed up his time massively and actually increased his overall profit.
Wow, okay. That takes guts, but I see the logic. What else under elimination?
Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's law. Remind me.
It's the idea that a task will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion.
Right. If you have all week to do something, it takes all week.
Exactly. So the solution is to set really aggressive deadlines for important tasks. Give yourself less time. He mentions writing a great college paper in just 2 hours because the deadline was sudden.
So combine 80-20 to find the vital tasks, then use Parkinson's law to force yourself to do them quickly.
You got it. That's the combo. And to help it focus, he advocates a low-information diet.
Low-information diet, like stop reading the news.
Pretty much. Or at least drastically cut back. He calls it cultivating selective ignorance. Stop the constant checking of news, email, social media. It just fragments your attention and wastes time.
But how do you stay informed?
He suggests letting trusted people synthesize information for you, or just checking essentials very infrequently. He only checked business email for an hour on Mondays, for instance.
Once a week. Wow. Okay, that requires discipline.
It does. And it means getting good at interrupting interruptions and learning the art of refusal.
How so? Like with email?
Yeah, limit checking to set times, maybe twice a day. Use an autoresponder to manage expectations. The book gives a template like checking email at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. If urgent, call.
And phones.
Screen calls.
Yeah.
Maybe have 2 numbers. Let non-urgent stuff go to voicemail. Learn polite ways to cut short rambling calls.
Meetings. I dread meetings.
His advice: avoid them if possible. Suggest email or a quick call. If you must have one, make sure it has a clear deadline and a very short time limit, like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, ruthless efficiency. I like it. What about repetitive tasks?
Match them. Group similar things together. Paying bills, checking mail, making calls. Do them all at once instead of letting them interrupt you throughout the day or week. He checked physical mail like once a week, sometimes less.
Saves a ton of mental switching costs, I bet.
Absolutely. And the last part of elimination is tackling empowerment failures, which basically means Delegate.
Trusting others to do things, that can be hard.
It can be, but it's crucial. Give people clear rules and the authority to make decisions on non-critical issues. He let his outsourced team handle customer issues under $400 without asking him.
And that worked?
Brilliantly. Increased efficiency, happier customers, less work for him. He has this great quote. "It's amazing how someone's IQ seems to double as soon as you give them responsibility."
I believe it. Okay, so we've eliminated. What's A?
A is for automation. This is where you really start building systems to free yourself up, and a big part of this is outsourcing life.
Outsourcing, like hiring virtual assistants? VAs.
Exactly. For business tasks, personal tasks, pretty much anything you don't enjoy or aren't good at. He tells the funny story of A.J. Jacobs, who outsourced everything, even arguing with his wife via his VA team in India.
Seriously? Wow. What kind of tasks can VAs realistically do?
Research, website updates, managing emails, scheduling, travel booking, photo editing, paying bills, finding stuff online, even sending flowers or reminders. Tons of things.
Them's affordable.
Often, yes. Especially using VAs from countries with lower costs of living, maybe $4 to $15 an hour. But he stresses focusing on the cost per completed task, not just the hourly rate, because communication can sometimes take longer.
Right. Efficiency is key. So outsourcing tasks is one part of automation. What's the bigger goal?
Finding the muse. That's his term for an automated source of income, a business that generates cash flow with minimal time investment from you, like maybe less than a day a week or even less.
An automated money machine. Sounds like the dream. Any examples?
He gives the example of ProSoundEffects.com, selling digital sound libraries online using outsourced advertising and fulfillment, made over $10K a month with less than 2 hours of work a week from the owner.
Okay, that's impressive. How do you find or create a muse?
He has guidelines. First, pick a niche market you can reach affordably. Don't try to sell to everyone.
Find your tribe.
Exactly. Second, the main benefit needs to be super clear, like one sentence. Third, aim for higher price points, say $50 to $200. This attracts better customers and gives you better margins.
Why higher prices?
Fewer but more profitable sales mean less customer service hassle. Also, the product should be relatively quick to create or source, maybe 3-4 weeks max.
And what kind of product works best?
Information products are ideal. Ebooks, courses, guides, low cost to create, fast delivery, hard to copy. And you can create expert status quickly with good branding and credibility indicators, even without formal qualifications sometimes.
Okay, but what if you build it and no one comes?
That's where microtesting comes in. Test the demand before you create the product. Use cheap online ads, like Google Ads, pointing to a simple web page describing the product. See if people click or even try to buy. You can use dry testing, show an out-of-stock message if they click buy, just to gauge real interest.
Smart. Validate the idea first.
Absolutely. Then you design the Muse architecture, the whole system to run itself. Outsource fulfillment, customer service, payment processing. You become the ghost in the machine, making very few decisions day to day.
Like his brain quicken example.
Okay.
Anything else for automation?
Yeah, a couple of neat tricks. The art of undecision, meaning offer fewer choices to customers. Too many options leads to confusion and fewer sales.
Keep it simple.
Right. And use strong guarantees, lose-win guarantees like money back plus extra or delivered fast or it's free. Reduces risk for the buyer, shows confidence.
And making a small operation look bigger.
Yep, the little blue chip tactics. Multiple email addresses like sales at all, info at all. Using a cheap IVR phone system so it sounds like a big company. Built instant credibility.
Clever. Okay, so DEA. That leaves L.
L is for liberation. This is enjoying the freedom you've created. And a core idea here is mini retirements.
Mini retirements, not one big one at the end.
Exactly. Take recurring extended breaks, weeks or months throughout your life and career, not just waiting till 65. Go travel, learn something new, immerse yourself somewhere else.
So spreading the retirement joy throughout life.
Yeah. And he argues it's often cheaper than you think, especially living long-term in less expensive countries. It's about breaking free from just accumulating stuff and reclaiming your time for actual living. Emotional freedom.
That sounds amazing. But what if you're an employee? You can't just take mini retirements.
Well, that's where negotiating remote work comes in. He offers strategies for employees to escape the office.
Like what? How do you convince the boss?
Increase your value first, maybe ask for company-paid training, then prove you can be more productive working remotely, maybe. Call in sick one day and demonstrably get twice as much done from home.
Sneaky but effective, maybe.
Then propose a trial period. Start small, maybe 1 day a week. Then expand it, the hourglass approach. And anticipate objections, address concerns about security or fairness up front.
Practice negotiating. Get good at overcoming no.
Definitely. But sometimes negotiation isn't enough, or the job just isn't right. That leads to killing your job.
Just quitting.
Yeah, quitting things that don't work. He says pride is stupid if it keeps you stuck somewhere miserable. He tackles the common fears, permanence, money, resume gaps, arguing most changes aren't irreversible, and you can build alternatives.
Distinguishing between mistakes of ambition, like trying something, versus mistakes of sloth, like just staying put out of fear.
Precisely. But then, once you have all this free time, what do you do with it? That's filling the void.
The potential downside of freedom. Too much time.
It can be. Initially, that kid in a candy store feeling wears off, and you might feel adrift. So he suggests focusing on things that give you an experience of being alive. Learning. He's huge on learning languages, says it gives you a whole new lens on the world. Service, doing something for others, volunteering, donating.
Giving back.
Right. And using the time to genuinely explore new vocations, find what truly excites you, like you did with writing the book itself.
So it's not just about escaping work, it's about finding meaningful ways to spend the time you've reclaimed.
Exactly. And finally, he includes a list of common mistakes to avoid on this path, the top 13 new rich mistakes.
Oh, good to know the pitfalls. Like what?
Things like falling back into perfectionism or micromanaging, even with VAs, handling problems others could handle, chasing bad customers again, not having a financial buffer.
Basically slipping back into old habits.
Yeah, or letting small things become big deals just to feel busy again, not taking those mini retirements, forgetting the social aspects of life. Having one product or job is the final answer instead of continuing to adapt.
So it's an ongoing process of vigilance almost.
It seems so. But overall, this deep dive really highlights the book's core message. The only rules and limits are those we set for ourselves. It's a powerful call to rethink, well, everything.
It really is. And I love that quote near the end. Life is not a race. Do take it slower. Hear the music before the song is over.
Beautifully put. So maybe the takeaway for you listening is to think, what's one thing you fear doing that maybe you could just try this week?
Or what's one uncomfortable conversation you could start? What simple assumption about your work or your life could you actually test? Just something to think about.